So the new year is right around the corner. That means a bunch of new games are going to be coming out. So this is my top 10 most anticipated games of 2020. Let's get into it. So number 10 on this list is going to be Dying Light 2. If you guys played the first Dying Light, that was a mix between parkour, Far Cry, and of course, zombie apocalypse, right? It was an awesome game. I really like Dying Light because it brought you in to this world and it kind of made you feel like it was more like a VR experience in a sort of way. I know it wasn't like a real VR experience in terms of 360 degrees and you had a headset on, but you felt like you were in control of the character. If you really think about it, you know, you being able to jump and kick people and go basically anywhere you want in this world, actions that you take will affect the events in the game and how certain things play out. So you can have a bunch of different endings, it looks like. They are really going all out and I cannot wait for Dying Light 2. Number 9 on this list is going to be Doom Eternal. Doom was a interesting game when it first came out. It was fast paced. If you had a good PC or even a decent PC, you could run the game. Doom came out in 2016 and brought it to a whole different level. They restarted it, you know, no numbers. It's not Doom 4. It's just simply Doom. And it deserves the title of just Doom. It was a great game. Obviously with the Nintendo Switch, Doom runs pretty all right on there too, so you can see how optimized this game is. It looked fantastic and it still does. A beautiful game. When enemies were damaged enough, they turned orange and you could do a cool assassination on them basically and just totally humiliate the demons in this game. Really, really fun. Doom Eternal is going to destroy the original Doom. You're going to be having so many more weapons, so many more demons. Doom Eternal looks like it's going to be an awesome game. Next on this list is actually going to be a VR title. This is HalfLife Alyx. If you guys saw the reveal trailer of this game, it was a high-polished looking Half-Life VR game. It's not Half-Life 3, but it takes place between Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2, so it is a prequel of sorts, and it's totally set in VR. All in VR, everything will be in VR in this title, which is interesting. We're gonna be getting a game from Valve, which we haven't seen for a long time, a Half-Life game for that matter, and it's gonna be coming for free for anybody who purchased the Valve Index. So this is gonna be releasing in March. I'm excited because VR is something I'm really passionate about. I love the potential of VR. Having big titles in the future, like Assassin's Creed maybe, or Splinter Cell, stuff like that would fit so perfectly in VR, and seeing the Half-Life universe come to VR and you can experience it in that fashion is just something I don't think any of us were ever expecting to happen. I know it is very expensive to buy a VR headset, but if you do have a VR headset or if you're planning on getting one or maybe you got one this Christmas, man, you are going to be in for a good ride. I cannot wait for this title. It looks great. Now, number 6 on this list is going to be Ghost of Tsushima. This game takes place in 1274 during the Mongol invasion of Japan. That is awesome. I'm a huge history fan, and when games bring history as the forefront in their games, I love it. Of course, entertainment and movies have been doing this for a long time. You know, we get an outlook and see what these historical events mostly could have been like. I know not all movies are accurate, but when it comes to games, nowadays with the graphics, man, you feel like you are taking part in a historical event. And I believe games should do this more. I love when you feel like you are in this, like you experience, you know what happened long time ago when there wasn't cameras around to take pictures. I know World War II and stuff like that, of course, we had the technology to record and get certain events on camera, which is awesome. But, you know, obviously in 1274, you know, you did not have, you know, video footage, so we can't look back and see it, you know, except go and, you know, look at the material that was used, you know, look at writings and see, you know, what they wore during the battle and, you know, all this stuff. Of course, we already do that for everything else in history, but representing that in a game where you take part intrigues me. I love that in video games. You know, for an example, I know this is a first-person shooter, but Battlefield 1, I think a lot of people love that game because, well, we didn't hear or experience a World War I game. I don't think you really ever heard it touched on, except maybe in school, and a few topics of maybe gas warfare and tanks that were used, the introduction of all that, and how it started, but you never really got a feel of what it was like. Yeah, sure, Battlefield 1 didn't represent too much trench combat, but you kind of experienced it especially the maps and the graphics, and you know how brutal it was. You got an understanding of what was going on, and it brought history in it. You know, explained what was going on, and I'm excited for Ghost of Tsushima. The gameplay looks great. You know, the combat style looks brutal, satisfying, fun, and I think the story is going to be very, very compelling. This is going to be coming out in March. Not a PS5 launch title, but it looks like it could be. The graphics look great. All right, let's move on. Number 5 on this list is going to be Cyberpunk 2077. This is going to be coming from CD Projekt Red. Of course, you guys know that. But they brought out an awesome cinematics trailer last E3 during the June period, and it looked awesome. It was kind of like a cool movie experience. I loved how they did that. But the game itself, it is a first-person game rather than a third-person game like The Witcher, and it's going to bring you into this ultra sci-fi futuristic world, which is Cyberpunk 2077. You're going to be able to make your own choices, you know, dialogue systems. What you do affects the game. It's one of those type of games, of course, we love it. Role-playing, RPG. The game allows you to choose different roles to maybe give you, you know, some sort of backstory, and games that do that are really meant to bring you into the immersion and have you be the player, right? You are taking part in this, and you get to make the choices, which is really cool. And it has a lot of cool gameplay features because it takes place in the future. So you have a lot of things, you know, people have been decking themselves out with, you know, a lot of electronics all over their bodies. You know, that's like the style. So they have all these, you know, augmented arms that can turn into blades and just, you know, kill people like that. It is awesome for gameplay, right? But it is scary if it was real. Yeah, it looks great. Cyberpunk 2077 looks really, really good. I'm excited for it. It's coming out in April, and it does look like it's going to have an insanely long story. Of course, Keanu Reeves is in this game. So it really makes me want to buy it even more because it's in there. So yeah, we'll see how this game releases. We already saw a lot of gameplay of it, and the gameplay looks awesome. It does. You have a lot of factions, and you can go about it in so many different ways. A lot of cool characters. This is going to be a real hit, guys. I cannot wait for this game. Next on this list is going to be Zelda: The Breath of the Wild 2. Breath of the Wild 1, right, came out, was a launch title for the Nintendo Switch. When I first got my Nintendo Switch, that was the first game I played. And wow, dude, it was great. I love the cooking mechanics, the open world, beautiful. Especially, you know, the way you traverse the world, you know, sometimes annoying when it was raining, but the story, everything was awesome. Gameplay was fun. Fighting, you know, enemies was really satisfying. Sometimes it could have been difficult. Cool puzzles. I love the puzzles, and it was a great game. Now, Breath of the Wild 2. Now, we don't have a trailer for this, anything like that. We do have some concept art and behind-the-scene images of this game, that it's in development, that it is happening. So you just got to really, you know, look out for some Nintendo Directs later this year. I'm hoping that this year is the year that we see Breath of the Wild 2. Watch out. Please come this year. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Number 4 on this list is going to be The Last of Us Part 2. The Last of Us 1 came out in 2013, and they re-released it in 2014 for the PS4, you know, with updated graphics and stuff like that. And then they eventually made it 4K with the PS4 Pro, so it was even better. The Last of Us was a insanely good story, gameplay, and for the time period, graphics-wise, it was outstanding, The Last of Us. Now, them going with part 2, I don't think any, you know, most of us thought that this would ever come out, or if it was going to take a long time, and it did, right? It's coming out, you know, 2020, so it's finally coming. Now, what's different with The Last of Us Part 2 is that you're mainly going to be portraying Ellie and her story and her development. We saw gameplay, right? Awesome gameplay of the combat, the graphics look insane. Oh my goodness. If you played Uncharted 4, dude, oh, those graphics are great. And now this is like a huge step up from Uncharted 4, which is kind of hard to believe. It looks great. You can see there's a lot of talent going into The Last of Us Part 2. So that makes me excited. It looks like they're ditching multiplayer though, which kind of sucks. But I know Last of Us 1, you know, I know probably not many people played that multiplayer. It was kind of fun, right? But I can see why they're not, you know, messing around with that. I think they should have. I think it would have been cool. But with The Last of Us Part 2, it does look like they're kind of pushing some sort of, LGBTQ agenda with this. If you guys saw a lot of, videos when they first released the trailer, with Ellie kissing this girl who's going to be like a main part in the game, all that stuff, like they're really pushing that, and they did that with The Last of Us 1 with the DLC. And with that, that kind of just gets me a little worried. I don't like games when they push an agenda like that, like they're really trying to push it. They brought like this girl who was like a lesbian out on the stage when they were revealing this game, like I think was it last or 2 E3s ago. So they're just pushing it. And they also have this other like transgender kid who's like 14 years old who says like crazy racist stuff on Twitter, who's also or was also in the trailer, and he's going to be in the game. So I'm worried. I will be honest. I want to be honest with you guys, right? I'm not just like, hey, this is all the stuff I'm excited for, and I have, like no issues with these games. With the information that I have right now with The Last of Us 2, it looks great, graphics, everything wise. I think the story is going to be good, right? But with those elements, I'm scared for the game. I think they could mess it up. I don't want them to. With what Naughty Dog's been doing, it's been kind of worrying me lately. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to stay optimistic. I think it's going to be a great game. Let's hope it lives up. Number 3 has to be Halo Infinite. I'm a huge Halo fan. I started playing Halo 3. That was my first Halo game back in, 2007, right? Or 2008, whenever that released. I was never into Halo before. I never really heard about it, or I did, and I just wasn't interested in it. But I went to my cousin's house, and I saw him playing multiplayer, and I saw the ragdoll physics for the first time. And when I saw that, I was just like, okay, I want this game. I want it. I don't know why. I was a kid, so things like that intrigued me. The ragdoll physics, I thought it was funny. I thought it was cool, so I bought the game. But I played the campaign, and the campaign blew me away. It was fun. The Warthog sequences, the physics, the story. I grew into these characters, Master Chief, the Arbiter, the whole storyline really stuck with me, and I've been a Halo fan ever since, And then I went back to play Halo 2 and Halo CE Anniversary when that came out, and I am extremely excited for Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite is going to be releasing with Xbox Series X, so that means it's going to have awesome graphics. It's going to be one of the first launch titles for the next generation consoles, bringing it back to the Halo CE days, so that's nostalgic. Let's hope it lives up. I'm definitely getting an Xbox Series X. I cannot wait. You can also play the game on PC too, so that's gonna be cool, right? So number 2 on my list is going to be Godfall. This game was revealed during the Game Awards live stream. If you guys saw, this is a PS5 launch title. It is coming from Gearbox Publishing. So this is the description. Godfall is a third-person looter slasher focused on melee combat, coming to PS5 holiday 2020. So you can imagine like more Destiny, Warframe, Anthem type of game coming holiday 2020. Now the trailer looks interesting. It isn't like mind-blowing, but we did see a GIF, I'm pretty sure, on Twitter that was roaming around, which showed RTX elements in the GIF, so with the reflections, so that's interesting. That's going to be really cool to see how this game takes advantage of the PS5 power, and yeah, that's going to be interesting. Thought it'd be cool to put on the list, get some 2020 games in there for the next gen consoles. All right, let's move on. Number 1 and final on this list, I'm super excited for, is Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. If you played the first one, that was an absolute masterpiece. The storytelling, animations, especially for the budget that was in for that game, it was astounding. If you haven't played it yet, it is on Game Pass on Xbox, so make sure you download it and play it. It's awesome. It was really cool. Now, they revealed Hellblade 2 during the Game Awards stream as well. This is going to be an Xbox Series X title. They revealed this right after they announced the new Xbox. This isn't going to be a launch title though, so it's going to come after. I don't know how long after, but it is a game that is being specially tailored to the new power for the Xbox, so you can expect great graphics. Now, if you're looking at this trailer and you're saying, okay, this is a CGI trailer, that's what I thought, but no, this is game engine footage, so take that what you may. I don't know. This could be just really good game engine footage, and it's not going to look anything like that, so it's going to look somewhat like this. Even if it looks somewhat like this, that's impressive. It looks great. I cannot wait for Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. Hellblade 1 was great. expanding that storyline into something maybe even bigger and making more and more games in the Hellblade universe sounds awesome to me. So I'm really anticipating this game. That's why it's number 1. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you give me your top 10 most anticipated games in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you go down, leave a like, also subscribe to the channel for more coverage over, you know, the next games, especially coming to E3 when that period comes. Full coverage will be on this channel. Alright, I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out.